This holiday season, give the gift of Netflix and enjoy streaming shows like...
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Erdinsha.
My name is Zulfakri Hakim bin Muhammad Zawawi.
My name is Muhammad Sazwan bin Muhammad Rahman.
My name is Muhammad Fitri Iman bin Ahmad Razila.
T Chow is a good worker.
你冇力嘅返屋企，呢度唔使你啊！
A good man.
我最近身體有啲問題。
有咩問題啊？
我靚仔咗好多。
And a good father.
做咩啊，老豆？冇啊，我要退啊，冇啊！
But when his son wants
呢
something,
個就係長江1號啊！啲同學都有，好好玩㗎。
he just can't afford.
佢走啦，快放翻低。
哦，
He knows just where to go.
仲犀利過長江1號嘅喎，你想唔想睇下？
你係咪嚟侵略地球㗎？
呢啲高科技嘅質地我真係未見過㗎，個彈力咁強嘅。
From Stephen Chow, director of Shaolin Soccer and Kung Fu Hustle.
今日測驗，但我尋日掛住同我話，都冇咁溫書，不如你幫把手嚟。
Comes a comedy that's out of this world. CJ7.
Summary. Chowti is a poor construction worker. He lives in a partially demolished house with his 9-year-old son, Dicky. T is eager to save money so he can continue sending his son to private school. Not much is known about Dicky's mother, other than the fact she had died when Dicky was young. Dicky is often bullied by other children, in particular by a boy named Johnny. Johnny is the son of a rich family and bosses of other students around at school. He also has other students as his henchmen. Dicky is also cheated by his teacher at school because he is poor and wears shabby clothes. T often helps Dicky to obtain things from the junkyard, as they are too poor to afford certain items such as his shoes. One day, while at a department store, Dicky begs his father to buy him a popular robotic toy called CJ7. T cannot afford it, and the situation ends badly when T smacks the stubborn Dicky in front of other customers. That night, T visits the junkyard where he often picks up home appliances and clothes for Dicky. He finds a strange green orb left by a space saucer and takes it home, telling Dicky that it is a new toy. He is hesitant at first, but later accepts it. The following evening, the green orb transforms into a cute and cuddle dog-like alien creature that best friend with Dicky. After playing with the aliens, he learns that it is capable of restorative power after it restores a rotten apple that fell to the ground. Dicky is very thrilled and named the alien as CJ7 and then fall asleep in dancing happiness. It turns out that it is an alien creature with generative power that will end up teaching important lessons to both father and son. Amidst a dramatic turn of events in which Dicky is confronted to the harsh realities of life.
Okay, for the main stakeholders, there are 3 of them. The first one is Dicky Chow. He is a poor student who lives with his single father after his mother was dead. He lives in a partially demolished house. Dicky's father sends him to a private school because he believes it could provide Dicky more opportunities. Because of his untidy appearance, Johnny and the other students bullied him frequently at school. Johnny comes from a wealthy family. He practically has every trendy toy. CJ7 is one of them. Dickie always persuaded his father to buy a toy that he genuinely couldn't afford while admiring the toy. He loves sport also. Although his shoes are worn out and broken, actually his father got those shoes from a junkyard. He asked his father once more in the hopes of getting a better pair of shoes. Getting a new shoes and clothes is a very valuable thing for a boy who lives in poverty. This is the reality of a poor student's existence, and they are in severe need of support from those who can afford it. Okay, the second main stakeholder is Mr. Chow. He is Dickie's father, who is working so hard to support his family, especially for his son, Dickie. He works as construction due to having owed many things to the boss, such as paying all the bills while his wife was sick. He had to working so hard and hold his stomach just to send his son to a good school, because he believed there his son would have many opportunities. Mr. Chow is a good father because he sacrificed everything he had. He always gives advice on a moral and ethical way of life. Okay, his popular quotes sounds like this: even if we are poor, don't use bad language, don't fight, don't ever lie, and don't steal, and also don't take anything that doesn't belong to us. He always encouraged his son to concentrate on his studies so that he doesn't end up like him. Okay, the last main stakeholder is CJ7. CJ7. Okay, Mr. Chow accidentally found a glowing ball in a junkyard. He decided to give it to his son to comfort him after a quick argument. At first, Dickie only think it was just a normal ball. However, it turned out to be a living thing and named it as CJ7. After being together for quite some time, Dickie found out that CJ7 is actually have some special power and ability. They turned out to be best friends. Okay, for the ethical dilemma, there are two of them. The first one is Mr. Chow slapped his son in the department store for protesting his desire for a toy. Dickie actually has a long wish for the toy after seeing Johnny bring it to the school. One day, he and his father spent time together in the town area. Suddenly, Dickie is interested in a department store that sells all kind of toys. He finally found the same CJ1 toy as Johnny's. Dickie was insist on having the toy and refused to let it go. He was also stubborn about leaving the store. His father tried to persuade him in a positive way by stating that he didn't have any money, but it didn't work. Due to Dickie's stubbornness, his father had to use force by slapping him several times. His father actually felt guilty because of that. Okay, the second ethical dilemma is Dickie cheating on exam to comfort his father. Dickie received a 0 on his exam. Then he lied and changed his result from 0 to 100%. He cheats because he doesn't want to disappoint his father. At first, his father was overjoyed, happy with the outcome, and told all of his co-workers about it. Until he discovered the truth, he was furious. He was actually mad. He was actually angry with his son, and they argued. Mr. Chow immediately says CJ7 from Dickie, and Dickie then telling he is leaving.
So on the next one, I'll share to you about the actions taken by the hero and villain of this movie, in according to the deontology and also consequentialism point of view. Before that, I believe it is important for us to know and understand what is the meaning of deontology and also consequentialism. So first, deontology. So deontology is an ethical theory where rights and wrong is defined and distinguished by the clear sets of rules, and it also can be regulations and also standards. And it is because when rules are implemented, people will bind with the rules and also be responsible towards their actions. So as you can see on the slide, here are two common rules that most of schools implemented in their place. So which is don't cheat on your exam, and also don't vandalize the school property. Okay, meanwhile, for consequentialism, it is also actually an ethical theory whereby it defines what's right and wrong based on the certain result or outcomes of a certain actions taken. And there are two factors that need to be considered when it comes to consequentialism, which is the size or weight of the benefits and also harm. So here are one of the examples that we can look to have a better understanding on consequentialism. Okay, now let's move to the actions taken from the hero in the deontology point of view. So the first one is Dicky, who was the main character, break the rules by cheating on his exam with the help from the CJ7 technology, as he desperately wanted to pass the exam and makes his father proud. And the second one is Dicky has get into a couple of fighting, especially with his classmate Johnny in the school. So these are the two examples of actions taken by Dicky, which is very unethical and wrong, as he breaks the school rules. And the third one is there is a scene where Dicky really wants to have the CJ1 toys, but his father could not afford it, and even though Dicky really wants the toys, he did not act or attempt to try to steal the toys. And the last point is there is a scene where Dicky got contempted as he being really dirty and living in a poor life by his teacher, but he did not insist back his teacher. Instead, he being very polite, as he has a high respect towards his teacher. So these are the two of examples actions taken by Dicky that is very good and ethical, as he did not break the school rules or any rules, and being very respectful towards his elders. Okay, meanwhile, for the actions taken by the villain character in the consequentialism point of view, so the first one is Maggie, who was the big boy of the school, got called up by Johnny to fight with Dicky, and actually did win the fight. And Johnny reward Maggie with a big lollipop after the fight. And the second one is Johnny has expressed his optimism and his goals to become a rich entrepreneur in the future. And there is a scene where in the exams hall he seems very confident, very prepared with his exam, and did not allow Dicky to copy his answers. And the last one is Johnny again try to force Dicky to let him have his CJ7, as he really impressed with the uniqueness and specialty of CJ7, and it becomes one of his dream toys. So he did try to fight with Dicky a couple of times.
So next question is, if we are in the villain shoes, the ethical action that we will take based on the golden rule is, treating other as our want to be treated. So if I were Mr. Joe, I will treat student fairly, since it is responsible as a teacher to treat student fairly. And also in this movie, it also make me feel shame for the action that Mr. Cho take, which is treat student unfair, and it also eventually affect the Dicky life. Conclusion that we get from the movie is, we should always be grateful for what we have. For example, the Dicky family always be grateful for what they have, and even though they are poor. So the next one is, we must treat others equally without looking the big background or what they use. In this movie, Mr. Cho treats students differently, and it will affect the student. Last is, we need to be honest and kind to everyone. Even though Dicky family is poor, they always be honest and kind to everyone.